now. Okay, good day, viewers around the globe. Once again, welcome to another segment of the Sit Down Sports, where we have a one-on-one interaction with your favorite athletes around the globe. And today we have an important guest with the name Styve Ngono, correct? Also known as the
Yeah,
Revolution. Okay. Okay, so Steve, we'll do a brief intro about you, a brief bio about you. And at any point in time, you could stop us if any information is correct. Feel free to like correct us regarding probably our accolades towards you. So Styve Ngono Essono, known as Revolution, is a Cameroon lightweight fighter under the PFL banner, who has turned a four-fight win streak into one of the most, I'll say, underestimated success story in PFL Africa. A former national Sambo champion, Ngono made his MMA debut in 2002 and spent years fighting across the continent before arriving at the promotion's doorstep with a 6-1 record and a first-round finish of Israel Mano. Okay, he made the opportunity count at the initial PFL Africa Finals in Cotonou, Benin in December 2025. Ghana outworked the Ivory Coast's Mélèdje Yedoh
yeah, yeah.
over 3 rounds, relying on takedowns, top controls, and a punishing ground and pound assaults, basically. So you have a professional record of a total of about 8-1. And from the research which we were able to do in preparation for this interview, we found that you're a former national Sambo champion.
Yes.
Okay. So it's a pleasure speaking to you, sir. It's a long, I'll say, overdue interview. We've been trying to get in contact with you for a while. So how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. As usual, today is weekend, relaxing. I'm resting at home. No training today as this weekend.
Okay, okay. So quick question for you. If you don't mind, the viewers would like to know, could you take us on a backstory on how your I'll say your career or your mixed martial art journey started? Because it's just recently that I understand that mixed martial arts is becoming popular right now in Africa. So if you could like kind of work us from, I would say, a chronological experience of yours that led you to where you are today.
Okay. Mm, I just started in, I think, 2020, 21. Yes.
Okay.
Mm, um, I was in Cameroon. I was playing football, All
Okay.
young children like playing football. And at that moment, I was too young. Um, I went somewhere. I went going back home to my house. I was in the car with many people in, how can I say, public cars, and we
Okay.
were much of us inside the car. And I met one of my former coaches. He was inside the car, and when I arrived, he came down and started speaking to me like, "Oh, how are you? Who are you? And are you practicing sport? Something like that." I just say, "Yes, I'm playing football a little bit." And he's told me I am a MMA training coach, and as I'm seeing you, you have a good physical condition and everything. And can you come and start or like experience if um, that sounds good to you? You can come and be training for free, and that is how everything started. I started training like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and then they saw like I was having potential that I can make it, and they programmed me a fight, professional fight already. I've now went through amateur
Amateur.
fight,
Okay.
and I said no amateur fight. I went directly. My first fight was against one Cameroonian guy. He was experienced than me because he was doing wrestling, and I think he was also doing MMA. And that was my first time when I stepped into the cage. I won the fight by TKO, knockout, yes, technical knockout.
Okay.
And that is where everything started. Started the second fight, third fight. Um, when I, because there is one other story when I left Cameroon and I went to Aventure where I passed through the desert and I
Yeah,
reached
we'll
Morocco.
get to that because we also
Yes,
saw like in preparation for this, we understood you took like similar paths like Francis and Ngannou. So you guys have similar story. But we'll get to that. We're just trying to like get to understand how first off you started. So from my understanding, it was, well, I say out of accident, basically. You were in a public transportation. A coach saw you, said, "Hey, okay, you look like someone who would fit mixed martial arts or like combat sports," and said, "Hey, give it a try." And all of a sudden, you found out that you were good at it. So it was not something you planned.
No, it was not planned.
Okay, 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 understood. So your nickname is the Revolution. What does that mean, basically? Because people have been trying to ask on the comment section. People are like, "Okay, revolution, revolution. What does it mean? What does it mean for to you?" Because our concept of what a revolution is might be different from the meaning which you have.
Okay. This name is first one of my friends who gave me that name. He's also a fighter, a small brother. He's known as Besala Wono Zapata Motivation. He's fighting soon. And he called me the Revolution because most of us in Africa, we are actually based on striking,
Yeah,
You are striker. If you reach Cameroon, you see strikers. If you reach Nigeria, you see everybody they strike. And I came with a different style. I wrestle, you know. And the fact of doing different than the others, being an African or a Cameroonian, that is why he called me the revolution, changing from one particular thing to
the normal,
something exceptional in
different.
Africa.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, different. Yes.
So
That is why he not be the revolution.
okay, so basically the name comes from you're not trying, no, you're not sticking to the usual patterns. Because like you said, people the continent of Africa once again have seen like great likes of strikers. So the likes of Israel Adesanya, the likes of Francis Ngannou, the likes of lots of African fighters, Kamaru Usman, who mixes the boat basically. So
Yes.
the name comes from you being able to, like say, switch the usual norms and do something like totally out of not the usual, basically, if
Different.
I should say. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it mentions your national Sambo champion, right? How does that
Yeah.
ranking come about in Cameroon?
Yeah, exactly. When I came back to from Morocco,
Okay.
I was supposed to make a fight in Nigeria. After the fight, I came back. They were having an international Sambo organization in Cameroon. And I
Okay.
started training there. I made something like 6 months and I fought there. And I won um, I was the number one, like how they say, golden.
The gold medal.
Yes,
Yeah,
I,
because
I became Cameroon champion.
I understand Sambo is an Eastern European, I'll say, mixed martial arts, basically, the likes of
Yes,
sure. So and
from Russia.
with yeah, good. And we've noticed basically your style also like shows that, like in your last fights, the last fights which you had in Nigeria against the Shield. We
Yes,
did our draws basically, and on our draws we were expecting or we hoped for the home fighter to win basically because he had a lot of hype behind him, the Shield, and you put him completely out of his game plan because we understood Shield was someone who likes to strike, stand and strike, but you took him totally out of his elements and basically had to win for yourself. So
yes,
sure. So we'll just go in from chronological, like your story. So we understood firsthand at the beginning, it's not like you were a prodigy in terms of like, kids that they bring up from like a very young age, like transitioning them to like a professional. So it's just something which you started at a point in time. Basically, it was a coach who saw you and said, "Hey, you could do it." And what age was that, if you don't mind me asking? What age was that?
Mm, I was something like 19 years old, 18 years old,
19,
something like that.
20 years old. It's believe me, or like for the usual norms, it's if you ask most people, they'll say it's a little bit much more older to like pick up a sport because you're supposed to have already started the striking game, the ground game, the wrestling game, like from a younger age, then you transition into like the professional basically, where everyone is waiting and anticipating you. But I'll say you are exceptional in your approach in the sense that according to people you started late but you're still doing outrageously well compared to others who started much more earlier than you.
Thank you.
What would you attribute that to, if you don't mind me asking?
What?
Yeah,
please.
what would you attribute your ability to like start off at what people consider a late age in mixed martial arts and still do exceptionally well? Like, what would you say is your
Mm,
source of motivation? Like, how do you come about that, basically?
you know, what I can say is like, bro, the first motivation I have is hunger, bro. Being hunger is a motivation, bro.
Understood.
There is
Understood.
nothing like being hungry and being motivated because the fact of checking something to eat, bro, you just learn something and put all your heart on it. I knew MMA, when you arrive in a certain level, bro, you will know lack of some basic needs. And for me, the fact of knowing that I can make my family go out of poverty and everything, bro, I was training hard every day. I took many risks. When leaving from Cameroon to Morocco.
Yeah.
In Morocco, I started wrestling because in Cameroon I was striking, like
Yeah.
all other
Correct.
Africans. But when I reached to Morocco, I have my friend, the Senegalese Abdoulaye Khan, and Amen. We started wrestling there. That is where everything changed in my style of fighting because in Cameroon I was striking, but there I changed everything to wrestling, much of wrestling, and for me the fact of success in life was my motivation. Nothing can stop me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So talking about risk, when doing your backstory or doing a research and preparation for this interview, we understood you took like the similar path like Francis, following the road route to like Europe for a better future. Could you kind of expatiate on us, to us, for most of the viewers who don't have an idea that that's possible, right? That most people could do that. Could you try and explain to them how it started? Okay, what's like drove you? Like you said, hunger is a driving factor, but like, could you just put us in the mindset of how you felt? What year was this, if you don't mind us asking? What year would you say your journey
Mm,
started?
2022, some
2022.
22 or 23, one of
Okay.
those 2 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. For an example, let's say
Eh,
it's 2022. So what mindset were you in at that point in time? Where were you? Could you still remember where you were when the thoughts came into your head, the next step you took? And yeah, because
uh,
it's a story which in the future we'll like to make a movie about it, right? If
yes.
sure, progressively we'll like to make a movie about it. So
Okay.
sure.
I was in my home.
Okay.
I was like, I was staying alone, and in Cameroon, I did already something like 3 fights. I did
Okay.
3 fights and nothing changed in my life. I could not even sustain to living, even food, nothing. It was very difficult for me. Then I was training hard, I was fighting, but I could not have money. And that was it was a desire. It was something inside my heart telling me nothing is going good. Something
Right.
is going bad here because I'm training hard, I'm fighting, but I have nothing. And one day I have a friend, he was in Algeria, he called me, he said, bro, what you are doing with that sport that you are doing, if you come and do it here, things are going to change for you because you are good in what you are doing. That is where everything started. I left Cameroon and I started moving until I reached Morocco and everything changed. Where I saw my friend, Amen, who started helping me, bringing me to Cameroon, taking for me fights and everything. That is
Okay.
how everything started.
Oh, and during over the course of your journey, what was your experience? What would you say you learned in Morocco, both in life personally and basically, and how that translates to your professional career?
In Morocco or all over the road?
On the along the road, because Morocco, I believe, was the destination. The journey to get to Morocco, sure.
Okay. Now, like, listen, and what has made me change during this movement, I think many things change on me. My way of seeing things, I become more stronger. Um, mind stronger,
Mentally.
when I see things mentally, yes, I become more stronger because when I see something now, it's like, bro, what I passed through there during in the desert in Algeria and all those countries, bro.
Yeah.
If you're not a man or you are not mentally strong, bro, you you will collapse, bro. You will die there. Be-
No.
I know the fact of trusting the desert makes me someone else. Trusting that Algeria makes me someone else, bro. I think that is one of when I'm going through a fight, I'm preparing for a fight. What I tell myself is that for you to beat me, for you to pass through me,
You have
bro,
to pass through the desert.
you must pass through the desert, bro.
Desert
If you cannot
also.
pass there, you will not pass under me. And even if you pass, bro, I'm coming back more stronger because I know it's a game. And in the game, you can lose, either you win.
Mm.
But for you to broke my mind, bro, you must pass through the desert. That is all what I know. And in Morocco, everything was good because Morocco is a good country, and I met my friends Abdul and Amen. That is where everything started changing. That is where I could have some facility to start fighting normally and gaining a little bit because they were helping me. When I came back to Cameroon, started uh, my friend was looking for me fight across Africa, and the only thing because I could not have papers, I was supposed
Yeah.
to come back to Cameroon, and then started going to fight, coming back for the Sambo, and everything started going good because after the desert and all the rest, things started going good for me.
Yeah, like you said, the desert was the much more complicated journey. Every other thing is like a walkover for you. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I could understand because we have stories about people who are trying to cross both the Mediterranean and like the deserts and they don't make it. So for you to make it, it's I think you're an exceptional human being, basically. So we understand you made your MMA debut in 2022 without no amateur career and you fought all over the continent before getting your shot with PFL. What did those years on the road teach you that you couldn't have learned the other way? Like, what lessons do you say you learned from competing in multiple locations? Because we understood you competed in the Echo show. You've competed in Echo
yes,
knockout show multiple times, and
yes.
you've competed across other places also with the Sambo situation. So we're trying to understand what has that journey taught you? You understood about the journey about you crossing the desert and what you learned from it. So what has the journey from competing these other places, other parts of the world taught you, and how do you carry that lesson to PFL Africa?
Okay. One, I can say those two things that I learned during this journey. One, nothing is impossible to someone who believe on himself. The fact of believing I can do it, why the other can do it and me not. I know everything is possible. Nothing is impossible.
Impossible.
Secondly, go out of your zone of comfortability. You should not stay where you are comfortable. Go and search for higher
Expectations, goals.
yes. Those two things, these are what I gain like lessons.
Okay.
Nothing is impossible to someone who believe, and always go out of your zone of comfortability for you to be someone else and more stronger. The fact of staying where you are comfortable, you are no more progressing. That is why every day I need for better how can I say, if I want to put it in a simple way, more dangerous opponents.
Okay.
Passing through them makes me to know I must still progress.
Okay. It's just like
Yes.
the old saying, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. So basically, I believe that's your yeah, will I say your game plan or your landmark? Okay. So
Yes.
your PFL debut against Mélèdje, Yedoh,
Yedoh.
Yedoh
Yes.
in Cotonou didn't go the way you initially planned, but you still walked away with like a clean decision. What did that fight teach you about, well, I say your own patience and your adaptability to like fights? Because we usually see you take people down, smother them, get the TKO or get the unanimous decision. So, like, what would you say you learned from that fight in particular?
It is true we learn under every fight, but
Correct.
under Mélèdje Yedoh, I could say he it is a tough opponent because not because of his style of fighting, but because of his fact of taking punches, taking injuries, and still be there, not staying, not abandoning.
Yeah, his
I hit,
resilience, basically.
yeah, he's resilient. I gave him so many punch. He was bleeding. I I even thought the referee is going to stop the fight. And the guy I was just shooting, beating. He was still there. And you should never minimize someone who is hungry, bro, because I know he's also someone like me, coming from Africa, hungry, who needs to impose himself to get like money for his family. And just the fact of being hungry, like I thought in the beginning,
Understood.
gives you the mentality not to abandon. And I know until someone is not hungry, never you minimize him because anything can happen during a fight.
Okay. So you understand it's a follow-up question still. You've now won four straight fights, including like two performances into inside the PFL cage.
Six,
How's sorry?
six,
Oh, you've won six straight fights or four?
six.
Okay, six straight fight. Apologies once again because we're like doing the research. You have numerous numbers, so that was why in the initial interview I asked you. Okay, at any point in time, correct us at any point in time. Okay, so you've won six straight fights inside the smart cage. How has your game evolved between the Yonder fight and the Shields fight?
Um, Normally, I am the type of fighter who is always calm. I I never step behind, and I always go and put pressure on my opponent with the mind of no matter how the opponent is, it depends on the game plan. You know, she is another game plan than the others. I've been fighting many others like Mélèdje. Mélèdje was not the same thing like the Shield. The Shield is a striker, you know. They knows him in Africa like a good striker, and most of his fight that he won under first round knockout TKO something like that. And I knew he's taller than me. He's a striker, and what should I do if I give him space? You know, if I give him space, he's going to take advantage of me. The only thing for me is to cut off the distance, bring him down, impose my game plan on him, and then even if you are which type of striker, brother, once a wrestler takes you down or brings you into wrestle, when you when you stand up, you're not going to be the same person. If you were 100%, you will go down to 40 or 30. And that is how I just impose my style of fighting on him. That doesn't mean it's where I'm ending, you know.
Yeah.
It's just the beginning because that is just what I know. But actually, I know I've been training, gaining more experience, and I know that the next opponent is going to see what is the difference between Muzaan and I now.
Okay. So the lights once again apologies for like taking away two wins from you. Apologies once again. Um
No problem.
the lights heavyweight in Africa is still a developing division with a lot of like raw talent. Where do you see yourself fitting into that picture at this point in time? Because from our understanding and from what you've showed us, you're actually cementing, will I say your name on the light heavyweights, will I say roster in Africa? So like, where do you see yourself in that picture, in the grand picture, in the grand scheme of things? Where do you see yourself?
Mm, actually, actually, in Africa, the light heavyweight, I think I'm the best.
Okay.
Now, all over the world, I have things to show. I have much to learn again, and I know with time things are going to change. I could go the best around the world because I know in Africa, light heavyweight, bro,
Yeah.
I'm the best.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. With PFL Africa continuing to grow, Nigeria and now Morocco on the horizon, how are you and your team thinking about your next step in the tournament? Are you scheduled for the Morocco bouts?
No, no, no,
Okay,
bro.
okay, okay,
I'm not on the Morocco, but soon I'm
okay.
fighting soon in PFL and PFL Dubai. I think
Okay, great.
it's
That's
going to be
great.
official. Bro.
Great, great, great. So what would getting a shot in PFL Africa title mean to you and your family and Cameroon in general? Because we've understood or we've seen lots of great athletes have come from Cameroon, like the likes of Ngannou and the likes of I think your close friend, the UFC, um,
Atiba.
yeah, Teo, correct. So what would you being in that picture? Like, what would that mean to you and like your country as a whole?
You know, the fact of being to PFL Africa, being one of the fighters, And being in PFL first is like a huge accomplishment. It's not everybody who can be in the PFL.
Correct.
One, uh, my PFL changed my life. Financially, it's not more the same thing. In Africa, PFL is the best organization that pays fighters. It's already financially a change in your life. Secondly, I'm so I'm so grateful to God that I'm in PFL and that so many children, for example, when I move in the road, actually, there are children, there are friends, they tell me, "Hey, I want to be like you." Is I see like it's
Motivation.
very great. Yes, motivating other people to be like what you are trying to be, because it's not already what it is, but you are still trying. But
Okay.
be like a mirror for those other people is great for me already.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, oh, this is like a rounding up questions. So, outside fighting, what does life look for like? Like, what's life for? Like you? Like outside fighting,
Mm,
like what do you do? Are there hobbies? Maybe are you into movies? Are you into like poetry? Are you into singing? Like what do the fans not know about you? Like besides like the takedown, ground and pound, and finishes.
out of the cage, out of fight, I am a normal human being.
Okay.
But most of my time, I spend it in the gym. I spend
Okay.
it in the gym. I train in the morning. In my gym where we are sleeping there, bro.
Okay.
I'm going to the gym in the morning because where I'm staying to the gym is very far. Then I cannot go and come back in the evening. Then when I trust to go to the gym, I train in the morning. I rest a little bit. Afternoon, I'm still training before going back home. Maybe on Saturday like this, this is weekend. I
Yeah.
can either look movies, fights, or I like also dancing.
Yeah.
Dancing. Yes, I can
Okay.
put music here and dance alone because you have our rhythm of song. They call it mole,
Nolly.
mole.
Okay.
Yeah, mole, mole, mole.
Bole. Bole.
Once, yeah, yes, once I'm always entering in my fight, you always hear music. I always dance like yes, they call it mole. Yes,
Okay.
he's from Cameroon. Yes, I like
Oh,
dancing. Yes, dancing, trainings, sleeping. That is all what I do. Nothing else, bro.
okay. 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 So is there any other projects maybe you're working on, maybe that we should know or the viewers should know? Maybe you in a movie or something, an upcoming movie, or you participating in like a commercial. Is there something else, projects you're working on the side?
Project like?
Like maybe you in a movie, Steve in a movie, maybe you're partaking in a movie.
No, no, I've never think of that, bro.
Oh, okay,
I've never.
okay. Future in the future probably could be. We'd like to see
Maybe.
you in an action movie playing like the likes of the likes of Kamaru and the likes of Francis.
Inshallah, inshallah, bro.
Okay, sure.
Inshallah.
Okay, sir. So it's a pleasure talking to you, Steve. Is it possible maybe you shout out to your Instagram handle, TikTok handle, and any social media so we could add it to the edits for you on the interview?
Okay. Okay, should I give it?
Yeah, yeah, say it. Just say it.
Oh,
Instagram.
okay. My Instagram is Ngono Essono Steve.
Okay.
My Facebook is still the same thing, Ngono Essono Steve. YouTube, Ngono Essono Steve.
Okay, okay, and I'm Raymond.
Yes.
So before we go, is it possible maybe you give any maybe young African, any young athlete around the globe who's having problems trying to pursue MMA as a career, and just give them like a words of wisdom? How are you able to push through from the desert to like going back to Africa, competing, and now finding yourself on one of the grand stages? If you don't mind, you could give them a piece of advice, basically.
Okay. Like advice, being a young a young man who is trying to develop himself, find his way. I can just say adventure is not the right way of doing things. Going to adventure, passing through the desert is not like a solution. But also, nothing should stop you dreaming. Always dream.
Okay.
Dream and stand up for your dreams. Don't dream and be sleeping. If you want to be like maybe John Jones, one of the best fighters in all the world, you should dream of it and you should wake up every day working for it. That is the only solution. There is no magic on that.
Okay.
There is no magic.
Okay, it's good. It's
work.
good. It's important to let them know because most times when they see fighters or when people say, hey, have the concept of fighters, they think you have maybe three hands, four legs, two heads. Okay. Like Steve
Yeah,
said, okay, he's a normal human being like you. All you have to do is hard work, pursue your dream. You don't have to sleep and think it's going to come to you on your bed. You have to go out to work for it, and the sky will be the starting point and not the limit. Okay. So it's a
exactly.
pleasure talking to you, sir. One of these days, probably I would come or stop by maybe your gym, maybe in Cameroon or anywhere you are, and try and have a section with you guys. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah,
Thank you
sure.
very much.
It's
Thank
a
you very
pleasure
much.
speaking to you. Have a lovely day. Raymond signing out.
Thank you very much, bro.
Sure.